Lieutenant Fortenberry, and he has the assistance of 2 sergeants. And the functions of the administrative division are community outreach, our special events, supervision of our 5 school resource officers, training of new hires and advanced training as well, and supervision of our records clerk function. In addition, Lieutenant Fortenberry has many other hats he has to wear. He's over our hiring and recruiting functions as well. He also serves as our public information officer, and he heads up our crisis negotiations team as well. I want to give you a report on our staffing levels. At the end of 2019, we had 59 sworn officers on staff, and that includes police officers, detectives, supervisors, and command staff members. We had 10 on our telecommunications staff, 6 in detention, 7 full-time, 1 part-time in our administrative functions, and 1 animal control officer. I wanted to share with you just some highlights of our very vast and many community outreach projects that we participate in. In 2019, we, on August the 1st, we held our National Night Out, which is an annual community building event that promotes police and community partnerships and promotes a spirit for ensuring safe neighborhoods. Our drug take-back program is a safe, convenient, and responsible way to dispose of unused or expired medications or drugs. The Greer PD assists with 2 drug take-back days each year, and of course we also maintain our drug drop-off box in our lobby that's available 24/7, and it's used a lot. Our Cause for Tots program, we entered our 31st year. It was a very successful program once again. It was as we provided Christmas toys for close to 200 children. And it's our goal that no child in the greater Greer area goes without having Christmas toys for Christmas. We participated in multiple Fist Bump Fridays. We did those in all of the elementary schools in our city: Woodland Elementary, Crestview Elementary, Chandler Creek, and Dunbar Child Development. The goal of the Fist Bump Friday, we have actually 2 goals. The first one, we just want to increase the direct interaction between police officers and kids. Secondly, we just want to put a smile on their face as they come in and get out of the car and start walking into school. Our youth cap, we held once again, and that is for middle school age kids. And it provides an opportunity for them to learn about the police department and interact with our officers and create new relationships. Our Citizens Police Academy provides a way for our adult members of the community to experience how our organization operates, and they get to be exposed to many behind-the-scenes features of our police department. They get to spend time in our telecommunications, our detention area on our side of the farce, and then they get to participate in ride-alongs as well. And we are, so in 2019, we had 23 graduates. That was our largest class we've ever had. And I'm happy to say we are in week 3 of our newest 2020 class right now. And it again has broken another record. I believe we had 27 that registered. We created a new hiring and recruiting team last year. And this team is currently comprised of 6 members that range in experience from 1 year to 24 years. And the goal of this recruiting team is to attract high-quality prospects to possibly gain employment in our agency. So we have ramped up our presentation at career fairs at colleges, and we've been participating in those. And so we have a really nice display. We bought some promotional items, and we're staying in touch with our high-caliber prospects so that we can stay in touch with them so that when they finally finish college and they're getting out and actually applying for jobs, they'll keep us in mind. Our Criminal Investigations Division is led by Lieutenant Varner, and it consists of an analyst, 1 clerk, a detective sergeant, 4 detectives who split general investigation cases, and then we have 2 members of our vice team, and we have 2 victim advocates. And you as a council approved a new position last year, so we added a 2nd victim advocate in 2019. She's doing a fabulous job. I'm very proud to report back to you about the creation of our multi-jurisdictional drug enforcement task force. You may remember last year I came to council and sought authority from you for our agency to enter into this agreement with the other municipalities in Greenville County, along with the Greenville Sheriff's Office and the 13th Circuit Solicitor's Office. So that team is now active. We have about 24 members of that team, and it's broken into 4 smaller teams, and one of our members from Greer is one of the team leaders of one of the 4 teams throughout Greenville County. They have made a significant dent already, and that is they're far exceeding any expectations I would have had within 6 months. They've made many large-scale investigations and arrests, and some of these networks of infiltration of drugs into our community come from areas like Alabama, Virginia, and there was one case that had a nexus to the Mexican cartel directly. So we do think the supply side of the illegal drug market is going to be greatly impacted over time. Very excited about what's ahead in the next few years. Our Operational Support Division, OSD, is led by Lieutenant Blackwell. She's assisted in supervision with 2 sergeants, and their functions include telecommunications, detention, and judicial services and animal control. I'm not going to bore you with numbers tonight. Try to avoid it, but I do want to point out some significant numbers here from our telecommunications function. Our fire dispatch calls have increased significantly compared to the previous year. So we had a 55% increase, and we dispatched over 9,500 fire calls, and that's a lot. Our police calls were pretty steady. We only had about a 1% increase, but overall, because of the additional fire calls, we had an overall increase of almost 23% dispatch calls. You may recall that we implemented an expanded fire dispatch program, so we're now dispatching for Taylor's Fire Department in Bowling Springs, and we have been dispatching part of Pelham-Batesville, in addition to, of course, Greer Fire Department. I'm a little surprised at the increase because that new arrangement we have made with these other fire districts has been in place for more than a year. So I was seeing some offsetting numbers for quite a while, but we should have leveled out a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. Communications Center was completely renovated during 2019. We removed almost everything from the room. We replaced it with new consoles, new chairs, a new floor, new computers, new wall screens, new paint. And the good news is we anticipate that 80% of those costs will be reimbursed from the state Economic One Fund. We did a small remodel in a part of our detention center as well. We took what was previously a laundry room and moved those functions to a different section of the detention center. And we took that room and converted it over to an additional holding room. And so that increases our capacity from holding 15 to 18 prisoners. And just as a reminder, we are a 48-hour male-only holding facility. But that's going to help us out tremendously. Our Uniform Patrol Division is led by Lieutenant Richardson. We have 4 patrol teams, 2 of them, Alpha and Bravo, split the daytime hours, and Charlie and Delta teams split the nighttime hours. And we also have a Sergeant Ballinger over our traffic and canine unit. He has 3 traffic officers that are on his team, as well as 2 canine officers. And also, as you can see from this org chart here, that our emergency response team is attached to our uniform patrol team. Our 2 team leaders of that team are sergeants or supervisors amongst our patrol division. In 2019, we responded to over 27,000 calls, and it's a slight decrease from the previous year. Of those, 50% were initiated by victims who called in for help to the police department. 46% were proactive or officer-initiated activity. Captain Presley is responsible for our professional standards function, and that includes maintaining updates to our general orders. He serves as our liaison for all legal matters. He handles all the FOIA requests. He ensures standards are applied to all of our use of force and pursuit incidences, and he tracks each one of those and conducts internal investigations as necessary. And just to report to you, we had over 1,400 people that were physically arrested during 2019, and only 58 of those incidences required any sort of use of force. So 96% of all of our physical arrest situations did not require any kind of use of control or use of force. And most of those that did were just simply using hands for grips and that type of thing. We didn't have to discharge a firearm once during the previous year, and rarely had to actually deploy a taser. Looking at reported crime in the city of Greer for 2019, we have shown a decrease over the previous 4 years. So I have the blue line that you see at the top of the graph represents the total reported crime, and that's grouping together crimes against persons, crimes against property, crimes against society, and then the miscellaneous Group B offenses as well. So we only saw an increase in our crimes against persons, so we did have an increase for that during 2019, but otherwise every other category we saw a decrease. So I'm very happy with that. We are seeing very similar numbers in our neighboring jurisdictions. Overall, crime rate nationally has been going down, and if you watch television, that's going to be hard to believe, but it has been the case for the last 5 to 10 years. I want to share with you a few of our goals for 2020. We want to begin building our new weapons range. We'll initiate a new program called Project Safe Neighborhoods, and I hope to share more information with you in the future about that. We want to begin a program for imaging all of our paper records, and that is a massive undertaking as we've started looking into that. And we want to reassess our patrol division camera technology that we're using. We are now at a point where we're going to have to invest into some other upgrades to our current systems. You know how technology works. You have to replace it with the next one. And so we're looking at trying to combine some of the storage platforms for both of our in-car camera systems and our body-worn camera systems, and maybe some cloud storage in lieu of buying more network storage and that type of thing. So we want to have a complete assessment of that over the next year.
There's been much publicity in recent years about the commercial use of unmanned aerial vehicles, more commonly known as drones. Technology and safety advancements have led the city of Greer to examine how drones can assist with daily duties and services. And in 2019, the city's drone program really took off.
Most people think of, when they think of a drone, obviously they think of the observation capabilities. That's what seems to come to mind. But you got to think a lot broader, not to make a pun, but the sky is the limit on the drones and the capabilities that you can do with them.
The path forward to using drones in the city of Greer is being led by the police department.
Our drones are specially equipped. They do have a speaker system on them. We can talk to somebody up to 5 miles away, give them commands, or tell them if they're lost in the woods, stay where you are. We know where you are, now we're going to come get you. It has lights that we can illuminate an area at night if we're looking for something. And it has a FLIR, which is a forward-looking infrared that gives it the ability to see in the dark. So if you're looking for a missing child or a missing person or a suspect, you can put the drone up and get a visual of what's hiding in those woods.
The technology is now also being used by the Building and Development Standards Department to inspect roofs, the Public Service Department to examine flooded areas, and the Fire Department for containment.
And when the fire is actually working, you can use that FLIR to see where the hot spots are and see what's the best approach to go after it.
The city of Greer currently has 19 drone pilots in 4 departments, and they are all certified by the Federal Aviation Administration.
So there's a couple of ways you could go. One was a certificate of authority from the FAA. The other was actually a commercial drone pilot. So a lot of agencies were going for this certificate of authority, but it required a lot more liability on our part. So we went what would be the harder route and actually had all of our pilots get FAA licenses. So they completed a 1-week training. They had a hands-on flight, a risk assessment section, and got certified that way. It's not an easy test. I mean, it's a fairly challenging test, and so far we have 8 pilots at the police department that have enhanced their career by becoming an FAA certified Part 107 pilot.
Agencies across South Carolina are taking note of how the city of Greer is building its drone program through education and certification.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we were contacted today by the Irmo Police Department about being part of a public safety program they're trying to start statewide, and it's looking like our way might become the model that other agencies are going to use moving forward to make sure they have everything they need to get started in a drone program.
Partnering with neighboring agencies has already proven to be productive.
The idea is we're sharing resources between us, Greenville County, and Greenville City for anything that we would need. And we've actually flown with Greenville City. A missing 8-year-old kid up on Caesar's Head. We went up and flew some of the perimeter stuff for them with our drones to help look for them. Corporal Compton was able to locate a attempted murder suspect for Spartanburg County. They had an idea the guy was at this house in the county. He was able to put a drone up and actually get a visual on this guy, and he was packing his car. He was a Hispanic guy, so they said he was most likely packing to leave to go back to Mexico. So him and a detective were able to feed that information to officers as they arrived on scene and effect an arrest.
So whether it's inspecting facilities or searching for suspects, as the city of Greer expands its drone program and the number of licensed pilots, Ballinger expects even more success stories in the future.
It does no one any good if you have a suspect run at night or you're missing a kid at night. It does no one any good for it to be sitting in an office and waiting for somebody to drive from wherever to come be a pilot. The idea is to have that piece of equipment in the seat beside them where they can get it in the air and start feeding information back to the patrol shift immediately. It's kind of a pickup truck, and you throw on it what you need and accessorize it to whatever the call is, and that's kind of where we're looking to go, so that whatever the call or whatever we need to do for the citizens of the city of Greer will have the capabilities to take care of it.